Hey guys, welcome back to Builder Funnel Radio. This is episode 64, and I just came back a few weeks ago from Fort Lauderdale. I was giving a presentation at CoConstruct's annual user conference, and that presentation was on building your future pipeline. And so as I was thinking about that, I started getting a lot of questions. We had some great dialogue about the topic, and I figured, hey, let's talk about it here on Builder Funnel Radio as well. And so that's what we're going to dive into today. But I'm really passionate about this topic right now because everyone's so busy. People are booked up through Q1. Everyone's talking about how they can't find enough labor, but they're also talking about how do I prepare for the recession or a slowdown or whatever we're going to be facing, 6, 12, 18, 24 months from now. Nobody knows when, but how do we start preparing? And so this topic, building your future pipeline, is something that is extremely powerful, and it's something you can start today that won't necessarily just start flooding you with more leads and more business, because I know a lot of you are saying, oh, I can't even handle a ton more business at this point. But what it will do is it will tee you up for the future, and it'll really start getting you set up so that 12 months from now, if you start to see some pullback, then you're in prime position because you've been building this relationship with a lot of people that are in research mode. So let's dive into today's episode. Everybody that I talk to typically is interested in generating leads now and customers now. And while obviously that's important, what also is important is making sure that our future now is full and that pipeline is full. And so when we fast forward 3 months or 6 months, that's the new now. And so I want to use this episode to talk about how do we think about our future pipeline? What can we do today to set ourselves up for success so that in the blink of an eye, when we get a few months down the road, and that is the present now, that we're in good shape. And so this is actually something my wife and I talk a lot about in our personal lives, is kind of talking about future Spencer and future Rachel and trying to set ourselves up for success. And it comes down to even just little things. So say we get to the end of the day, we're tired, we've put Carter to bed, and then all of a sudden, the dishes are there, and we're thinking about, the morning and how we're going to be having to, scramble to get him out the door and him ready. And so what we'll do is we'll knock out the dishes and we'll prep lunches and make snacks and meals and get those all ready to go for the next day. And we always talk about, again, how grateful future Spencer and future Rachel are going to be in the morning. And so we always try to, be those good friends to our future selves. And so kind of a funny concept, but I think it applies really well in all areas of your life, which is coming down to, okay, what do we need to do today to set ourselves up for the future? Okay, so how does this work out in the marketing world? So when we think about marketing, we've got a funnel, or a sales and marketing funnel. And so we're going to break it down into top, middle, and bottom of the funnel. And so typically the top of the funnel is somebody that's in research mode. So they're browsing websites, they're on Pinterest, they're on Houzz, they're on Facebook, they're reading blogs. But basically the main consideration here is that we don't know if this person will ever buy. So we don't know if they'll buy a home. We don't know if they'll remodel their home. They could, but they also might not. So top of the funnel, very research heavy. People are browsing. Many of them will become buyers, but many of them won't become buyers. Then as we move down to the middle of the funnel, we've made it a little bit further along. So somebody has done their research a little bit further, and they're starting to look at, how do I actually get this accomplished? And so they're going to make a decision, and we just don't know when that decision will be. So they still could be 12 months or more away from making the decision, but they've arrived at the fact that they are going to do something. And then we get to the bottom of the funnel, and the bottom of the funnel is somebody that's ready to buy today. We just don't know who they're going to buy from. So they could buy from you, they could buy from a competitor. So if we break down those stages, we've got top, research mode, maybe we'll buy, maybe won't buy. Middle of the funnel, they will buy, we just don't know when. It could be a ways out. And then we've got bottom of the funnel, which is we know they're buying now, we just don't know who they're buying from. So where's the biggest opportunity? Most people are focused at the bottom of the funnel because that's where the current opportunity is. So people that are ready to buy today. So that could be scheduling a consultation, calling you directly, coming into a model home, whatever that step is, where they basically are saying, hey, I want to talk to somebody in sales and I want to talk about moving this project forward. But the real opportunity is actually at the top of the funnel. And that's where most of you are not capturing enough leads. So let's use an example. Let's say somebody's researching, doing their kitchen, redoing their kitchen. They're going to browse a ton of websites, right? They're looking at social media, they're online, they're reading blogs, they're browsing websites. And so let's say they make it to your website. Because they're not ready to buy today, they're not going to call you. They're not going to fill out your contact us form. They're just looking around. So they might be browsing your portfolio. They might be reading some blogs. And so the idea is, okay, we've got to capture them now, because if we don't capture them now, they're gone. They're going to click away. They're never going to fill out a form. They're never going to call because they're just not at that stage yet. And so what we want to do is offer them something of value in exchange for at least an email address. And that way we can pull them into our funnel. And of course, they're still at the top of the funnel, but at least now we'll have a way of staying in touch with them. So we can use things like, we call it premium content, but it could be something like a kitchen design guide. So let's say they're browsing around, they find one of your blogs on kitchen design trends for 2020. Well, then as they're reading it, if there's nothing for them to do, again, they're just going to leave. But let's say you have a nice call to action there. It says, hey, download our kitchen design guide. And then they can click on that. They fill out a quick form and then they get the guide. So now you've delivered some value. You're starting to build some credibility as a company. But more importantly, you've also captured their email address. And that's how you can start to stay in front of them. So as we fast forward and start to think about our future pipeline, let's say we get 10, 20, 30, 50 of these people in research mode, and now they're in our funnel. Now we can start to send them a newsletter every month. We can send them emails when we write new blog posts, when we release new videos, when we win an award, when we have company information going on. There's all these things that we can update them on. And again, now we're starting to build trust, we're starting to build credibility, and we're top of mind. So if we fast forward 6 months and maybe, she's moved down to the middle of the funnel, your prospect has. And so now she's maybe wanting to reach out and get a little more information. And then she's moved to the bottom of the funnel. You've been there every step of the way. So you're going to be one of those companies that's in the consideration process. So that's how this process works of building your future pipeline, is thinking about, how do I take all these people that are researching now? They're not ready to buy today, but they're really great leads. They're just not ready to buy today. And that's, I think, where people get hung up, is they think, oh, internet leads are just garbage, or internet leads are junk. It's like, well, no, everybody on the internet is just researching, and there's only that small percentage, maybe 10% that are actually actively buying. And so for everyone else that's just researching, let's pull them into our funnel. Now let's talk action items. So what can you do to start building your future pipeline today? So the first thing I always recommend is go see where your top traffic pages are. So where are people visiting your website now? And look at those top traffic pages. So if you go into your Google Analytics, you'll actually be able to see most people are probably going to your home page. But then right below that, look at maybe your top 10 pages, and you might have some of your services pages. Maybe there's a couple of blogs that you wrote that are ranking really well and they're really popular. But see what those pages are. And then what you want to do is see if you have something of value you can create. So I use the example of a kitchen design guide. It could be a custom home guide. It could be a process checklist showing everybody the steps in either building a home or remodeling a home. It's something that you're going to deliver where, as they're researching and they're thinking about it, you can offer that up to them. And I say look at those top 10 pages because that'll give you a sense of where people are visiting and what they're interested in. So you may see that maybe some of your kitchen portfolio pages are getting a lot of traffic. So maybe you want to create something around that topic. And then once you've identified the topic or what you're going to give away, then you want to create a graphic that you can put on all of those top traffic pages, because that's where people are going today. And so you might take you know, that kitchen design guide example, and it might say, hey, click here to download our free kitchen design guide. Once somebody clicks on that, you're going to want to have what's called a landing page or a conversion page. And so you'll drive them to that page, and that page basically gives them a quick summary of what's in the guide, and then there's a form that they can fill out. And once they fill out that form, now they're in your marketing funnel. So then that's the point you can start to email them. But the key is you've got to have that piece of premium content, you've got to have the call to action and the landing page. And so what I want you to do is make sure you've got those three elements, but then go through those top 10 pages and then make sure you put that graphic on all 10 of those pages. And so that way the traffic that you're already getting to your website, now they have an opportunity to convert at the top of the funnel if they're not ready to buy today. And so you'll be able to pull them in, they'll go on your email list, and then you can take it from there. But that's what the big action item is for you today, because 6 months from now, 12 months, or 18 months from now, when things start to slow down and we start to see, you know, I guess we're not quite as crazy busy as everybody is now. A lot of people are booked out through, you know, first quarter of next year, but we know that's not going to last forever. So it's really critical that we start working on your future pipeline so that a year from now, you're really grateful you've got a ton of people in your database and you've got more opportunity than your competitors because they haven't taken these action steps. So really hope you guys enjoyed this episode. This is something that I'm very, very passionate about. It's such a powerful marketing tool. And again, it's all about building the entire marketing funnel, and it starts at the top. Thanks again, guys, and we'll see you next time.